This is Nick, a 75-year-old man with a history of coronary heart disease and stroke. As a result, on the left side of his body is kind of not functionable, and he's on his way. He's on his way. He's on his way to recover. Like many others, Nick does not depend on the primary healthcare providers on his way to recovery. Instead, he is going towards community healthcare providers such as NTUC Healthcare. Now let us take a look at NTUC Eldercare. It has actually achieved success as a social enterprise. It is able to provide quality and affordable daycare service and home care service for the elderly, while actually achieving a surplus in recent years. So here are some of the sources of funding. Firstly, service fees. Secondly, donations, and thirdly, government funds. As a result, it is able to gain, as I've said, a net surplus in recent years. However, the recent trends are changing. The first trend we are seeing is that Singapore is facing a rapidly aging population. So in 2005, we are seeing 1 in 11 elderly. Whereas in 2013, we are seeing 1 in 4 elderly, which means that there's a significant increase. Which also means that there will also be a change in demand for elder care services in Singapore. Now, the second trend is that there will be a shortage in manpower. So shortage in manpower. Like even though we understand that there will be an increase in healthcare providers, we have actually identified that most of these healthcare providers are actually in the field of doctors and nurses and allied healthcare providers. Moreover, there are some reasons why professionals shun jobs in elder care sectors. Firstly, is because there are low wages, which we have identified to be 20 to 30% lower than other healthcare institutions. There's also lack of career progression, and also there's a negative image related to such jobs. As such, the elder care sector actually faces a lack of manpower, an issue that needs to be addressed in order to meet the rising demand of elder care services in the future. And then the third trend that we're seeing is that the demographic of Singapore aging population is changing. So, firstly, the average age of our clients is actually increasing, which means that we need to provide a better elder care service to deal with such changing demands. Secondly, the baby boomer generation is approaching, which we are facing a silver tsunami, which also means we also see that they are actually more highly educated, and the perception of care have also changed as well. This is on top of the rise of middle income class, which is shown in this table. So as you can see, the income has been rapidly increasing. No, not rapidly increasing, but the income has been increasing, which also means that the demand for healthcare services will change as well. As such, this points towards the fact that the quality of elder care services have to improve to better suit Singapore aging population. Thus, with the following analysis, we've identified that there's a need for NTUC elder care to actually make improvements and changes to the current business model so as to ensure that their mission of providing affordable and quality healthcare is sustainable in the long run. Hence, these are our following targets. Firstly, it is to achieve sustainable growth by achieving a 90% CAGR in operating income for NTUC elder care. The second target that we want to achieve is to improve the quality of the service provided, and this is done by tailoring the programs in each center to cater towards these community-centric health services. Thirdly, it is to improve the productivity. So this is measured through the output of each worker, which means the number of elderly served per staff member. So here are some of the issues that we face in achieving these targets. Firstly, we see that a large portion of their income come from donations and government grants, which we feel is not sustainable in the long run because of the irregularity of such donations. As such, we are proposing that NTUC Eldercare has to reduce the dependency on such grants and look towards improving its revenue to drive sustainable growth into the future. Now, moving on towards improving productivity and quality of the service provided. The current issue is that there is a high demand for eldercare services, but at the same time there's also insufficient manpower in the eldercare professional field. So this trend all points towards that there is an increasing need for eldercare services to provide high quality to meet their needs. And so what we're proposing is that NTUC Eldercare have to upgrade their current services to manage the efficiency and also meet the changing demands. As such, we're able to. So these are following recommendation in 2 R's. Firstly, redesign. Secondly, restructure. So let us take a look into the redesign aspect of our recommendation. So currently, we have identified that the large portion of revenue comes from actually the daycare fees. As such, we'll be focusing towards catering our program and recommendation towards the daycare service. Yeah. So at present, we've identified that NTUC is mainly focusing towards catering towards the low-income elderly, which range from who do not have any income all the way to around 1,600. However, we realize that the elderly who are actually slightly more well-to-do are actually often neglected, and this is the market that is not that is untapped, and it has a high market potential as a result. So over here, what we are trying to do is that we are tailoring the program to that NTUC Eldercare can offer by providing the, services such as physiotherapy, rehabilitation, and muscle strengthening exercises, which are conventionally only available in hospitals, but now we're bringing it towards the community. So why do we want to do that? Because there's increasing government support. Firstly, this is aligned with the government healthcare goals, which is to move these secondary and rehabilitation and also long-term medical services more towards the community, and also NTUC Eldercare Centres actually at present have the facilities and capacity to support such programs. As such, we will be increasing our fees for our programs. However, we understand that we have to ensure that it's affordable and available for all. As such, we are suggesting that NTUC can also adopt this regressive government subsidy tiering, such that those elderly who are in the lower income tier receive higher percentage of discounts and grants, whereas those from higher income receive less, and in such way we are actually able to ensure that there's greater affordability and availability. The next part of the elder care recommendation that we have is restructuring. Now, looking at restructuring, we have to identify that there is over-reliance on. Now we are talking about increasing this revenue. However, we must not over-rely on rising revenue to sustain this model, because we know that Singapore is experiencing an aging population, which means that the number of working adults in the country will be decreasing. Also, there's a decreasing OH support ratio, which means that the burden that each working adult has to support the number of elderly is also increasing, and as such, the amount of donations and grants that NTUC Eldercare depend on is actually quite limited in the long run. As such, what are some of the other ways that they can do to achieve sustainability? Firstly, NTUC Eldercare can look towards reducing its costs. So if you look at costs, the majority of these costs actually come from manpower costs, which in 2012 accounts for 3 million, which is about 61% of its total costs. However, we understand that we cannot afford to reduce costs. We cannot afford to reduce costs by laying off manpower, because we are actually facing a shortage. So what we can do is actually lower its cost in a way by increasing manpower productivity. This is done through a strategy of three-pronged approach. Firstly is through the retention of experienced staff. Secondly is to upgrade the skills of current staff. And thirdly is to make use of technology as a key enabler to further increase our staff efficiency. So in terms of retaining experienced staff, we will be restructuring the wages of this. Firstly is to make use of this progressive wage model as proposed by the Labour Movement Progressive Wage Committee. So there will be we are recommending that there will be increase in 10 to 15% of the wages, so as to make sure that the wages are actually competitive as compared to other healthcare institutions. Secondly, is to reduce from a 6-day work week to a 5-day work week, because at present we realize that most of such workers in community healthcare service providers actually work long working hours and it is inflexible. And here are some of the benefits that they can achieve out of it, which is to reduce the recruitment costs, because by retaining experienced staff, we do not need to spend extra money on promotion materials and marketing. And also, we can reduce the training costs on training new staff, because they may not be familiar with what we are doing. And thirdly, it is to enhance the quality of care, as experienced staff actually have the connection and understanding of what the elderly wants. So the second part of this three-pronged approach is to upgrade the skills of current staff. This is done by going through training. But however, we understand that the majority of caretakers are actually diploma holders and below, which means that there is actually a mismatch of skill sets and the job requirement. And this actually limits the scope and the ability of our service providers.
You got 1 more minute.
Okay, so here are some of the benefits that we think that will help in NTUC healthcare, which is to increase the skill sets and abilities, and also allow for job rotation and eventually increase their job satisfaction. And what we propose is that is to leverage on the government support and grants, which is currently available. This will help offset some of the costs in retraining and adoption of technology. The next recommendation that we have is making use of technology as a key enabler to further increase our staff efficiency. So firstly is to make use of automation to actually replace some of the labor-intensive and mundane repetitive tasks such as physiotherapy and the second recommendation we have here is to deploy technology in administrative processes and documentation. Okay, so here's a case study of what Tan Tock Seng has done, and it has actually seen significant increase in productivity, as each physiotherapist is now able to work with multiple patients.
Okay, you can sum up your last sentence.
Okay, in conclusion, we have seen that we have actually calculated and shown that the productivity has actually significantly increased. Even though the total cost may have increased, the number of patients served also increased in tandem. And here are some of recent mitigations, which we believe is adoption of technology and usage of such training programs. However, we believe that this can be mitigated through government grants, and which can help offset some of the high costs in adopting it. So here's some of the revenue breakdown, which we are trying to, as you can see from the graph below, after the recommendation.
Okay, you can try and conclude.
Okay, the large portion of the revenue will no longer depend on grants and donations, but more towards revenue of the service provider. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so my first question is regarding increasing your fees so as to increase the revenue for NTUC. Do you think that is feasible, looking at how one of their goals also is to increase their outreach? Will increasing fees actually inhibit that goal?
Yeah, thank you for that question. But I understand that I've said that to increase the fee, but the second part towards it is actually making use of this regressive government. Making use of this regressive government subsidy theory, which means that those who are actually earning way below, let's say the lowest tier, $0 to $700, actually receive up to 80% of the subsidy, as compared to someone who is earning above $2,000, which does not, which does not allow them to receive this grant. So, what we believe is that the increase in fees is actually will not be as significant due to this subsidy that the government is providing.
But increasing fees would definitely impact everyone along that bracket since they have to pay more, right?
Yeah.
So how do you retain those people that might be affected by the huge cost? Since in the first place, right, the bulk of your clients are actually in the lower bracket, so they are price sensitive. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I understand your question as well. So what we see is that we are providing additional value instead of going towards the hospital. We actually have significant cost saving in terms of transport, in terms of time waiting, and in terms of the convenience of such, for example, physiotherapy or muscle building programs available in the neighborhood, which we believe is a significant, which we can add up to significant amount. Yeah.
Okay. My second question is regarding the specialized services that you offer. So physiotherapy and rehabilitation, right? Would that require additional costs on your side to either hire specialists regarding those fields or retraining your staff?
Yes. Yes, we've actually. So your question is more towards.
Will there be an increase in cost?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there will definitely be increase in cost. However, because we are complementing with the use of technology, so it enables each physiotherapist or each service provider to actually cater to a greater number of elderly. So in a way, even though the cost increase, the cost per unique patient serving is actually lower.
Okay, do you have the financials for the cost per patient?
So, cost per elderly served. So looking at the lower graph over here. So without the implementation of our productivity whole package of it, what we are seeing is the green line. However, after the implementation, the cost actually per elderly served is actually lower.
Does that take into account the capital costs required?
Yes.
What's the investment in capital costs for facilities and equipment?
Yep. So based on understanding, we are actually doing a assumption that because the center has to provide about 200,000 in this, and on the other side of the capital cost is actually funded by the government by using this healthcare and productivity fund, which has not been really actively tapped on at the moment. Yeah.
And you have the
Oh, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have investigated the situation. There has been a false alarm. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. Thank you.
The local man. Okay, I'm so sorry, but we have actually accounted the local med cost as modeled from Tan Tock Seng, because Tan Tock Seng has actually conducted this since 2010, so it's been 7 years.
We'll take your word for it.
Okay, I got one last question from my side. You plan to reduce your 6-day work week to 5-day work week, am I right? So how does this actually affect your day-to-day operations? Since now for the elderly side, they have one less day to visit your elder care centers.
Oh, sorry. What I actually meant is that for each worker, they actually reduce to a 5-day work week, and then through better management of this manpower, we are able. As we are not reducing the number of days the center is operating, but more towards reducing the number of work days for each worker.
Okay.
So it becomes more
In that case, wouldn't it, because you already have a manpower shortage issue, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it cause more stress and more workload for your existing employees?
Yes, we have identified as well, but what our recommendation actually proposes is that through training, and we are able to allow them to have better productivity in meeting the needs, and also making use of technology, we are actually able to streamline some of the administrative processes, which means that by making use of, let me bring you there. Yeah, so by making use of this national electronic healthcare records, the staff do not actually have to manually find out all the history and databases of these patients and sort them out, but tap on these available resources and so streamline this, cut down on this time on all these so-called unnecessary things and focus to those patients.
Okay, do you have a timeline for your recommendations implementation?
No, we don't have.
Okay, so I assume that you would adopt the technology solutions first, streamline your processes, and then you cut your work days.
Yes.
Okay.
Only women.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.